Hey guys, welcome to Module 6. This is our first module of 1 month of practice before the AP test on May 15th that you are taking at home. So, we have a meeting today and we have a meeting on Wednesday to go into detail about what that test is going to look like. But for today's class, what we are doing is we're getting started reviewing period 6, 1865 through 1898, to get you ready for that test, which is happening on May 15th, 4 weeks from today. Okay? So, here's how this is going to work. There was a do now here. Hopefully you did the do now. If you were like, holy crap, I don't know anything in this do now, that is a problem, but it's a problem you're going to be fixing this week. Okay? So, for this first picture, hopefully we maybe saw a couple things. We have Uncle Sam in the background, and then we have this woman. Why is this woman important? Well, think about what women represented from 1865 through 1898. They were progressives. They were reformers. They were trying to change the country. Okay? So they're going after alcohol. They're going after better work conditions. They're going after better living conditions in cities. So she is looking here. She's shocked. There's a snake here. The snake says monopoly on it. Oh, wait, monopolies. Okay, monopolies run by people like Carnegie, Rockefeller, Morgan. They're the ones wrapped around the Capitol who have control of the government during this time period. This is called the Gilded Age. This is the time period of monopolies, robber barons. And then Uncle Sam is not doing anything. So this is the woman who represents the progressives, justice, the temperance movement, women's right to vote. And she is trying to stop monopolies from taking over the country, bad working conditions, making things worse for everybody. Okay. Now, notice this woman is not a part of a labor union. She's not a labor organizer. And remember, a lot of the women in this time period were upper middle class women trying to stop some of the worst abuses of monopolies. Now, look at this one. All right. We have these people, right? And they are trying to stop this guy. Who does this guy represent? He represents a new immigrant. Remember, there's tons of immigration after the Civil War. People coming in and who are trying to work in all of these new industries to create this brand new kind of country where you're going to have industrialization, factories, and all this stuff. And you have some of these people who are mad about immigration. Now, even though we see this guy here, just keep in mind, most of the time the robber barons loved immigrants because they're cheap labor, right? But you had lots of other people who were against immigrants, who were saying immigrants were going to make the country worse. Keep in mind, a lot of these immigrants, they were from Southern and Eastern Europe. All right, so most of the whites in the United States in the beginning came from Northern and Central Europe. Okay, Germany, France, England, Ireland, all of those places. Now immigrants are coming from Italy, Greece, and Eastern Europe and Russia. Okay, so these are the new immigrants who are feared by many people. But also remember, the Democrats tried to get them on their side, and the Republicans were often the ones who were trying to fight against these new immigrants. All right, so you clicked on the video here. What we are doing today, guys, is that was just a little bit of a reminder of what we're doing in period 6. And once you're totally finished with this module, make sure to submit this so I can look back at your do now there. Today with period 6, you guys are making a study guide that reminds you of all of the things that we talked about in period 6. So you're using your SFI sheet for period 6 to help to make this. And you have lots of other options for places to go. You can look at this huge guide here. All right, this huge guide has all sorts of stuff that can remind you of all of these things that happened during period 6. All right, neither one of those cartoons mentioned, for example, the Du Bois and Washington debate, right? Neither one of those cartoons mentioned some of the stuff about westward expansion, which, remember, this is a huge part of the time period after the Civil War is westward expansion. Okay. So, and then the Native Americans in the West, all of these different things that happen during period 6. What you're doing, all right, is you can use this text that I just showed you, or use a bunch of these different videos. A big helpful video. It's our old friend at apushReview.com. He has videos for every single period, all right? And some of the best videos here, they're in these, oh my gosh, I knew exactly where these were a second ago. Yes, the new APUSH curriculum, you go down here and you click on period 6. He is going to summarize the entirety, okay, 6 in 10 minutes, which is pretty great. All right, so that's a really good place to go. There's a link to that video right here in, that's a link to it in YouTube. All right. There's also a link to a bunch of other review videos that you can use. So what are you doing? You are making a study guide for period 6 that has everything you need on it for period 6. Your study guide has to have a summary. Okay, that's the first thing. Big overview in your own words of period 6. Your study guide has to have a concept map or a timeline, whatever works for you, a visual. Your study guide has to have, to you, the most important vocabulary from period 6. And then finally, your study guide has to have the most important people, political parties, or events, the turning points of period 6. Think about the turning points, the years, the events that changed everything in period 6. So you're going to make that study guide. Then you can use what I'm using right now, Screen-O-Matic, or you can use your phone and you can take a picture of your study guide. Or there is a camera on your computer. You can take a picture using your camera. You're going to go to Classroom and you are going to upload your study guide. Okay, and it tells you the directions here. You're going to upload your study guide to Google Classroom. So this is a bigger task. So that is going to be due on Friday, just like all of the review, all of the stuff we've done so far in eSchool. But like it has to be done by Friday. Now, why does it have to be done? Well, here's the big picture of the entire unit. Okay, today's the 20th. Okay, you are going to be writing a DBQ next week on period 6. It's going to be on that Monday or that Wednesday meeting time. You're going to get 45 minutes and you're going to write it in Edulastic. Then we're going to keep writing these DBQs. Now, these DBQs are 45 minutes because the DBQ on the new test is 45 minutes long. Okay? Now, why do you need these study guides? Because the new test, guys, is open note. And I want you guys to have study guides so that you can do well on the new test. The study guides I really want you to have are for period 6, for period 5, and for period 4, because that is where the DBQ is coming from. Now, the DBQ could come from period 3 or period 7, but I think there's almost no chance it's coming from those periods. I think it's going to come from period 6, 5, or 4. So we're going to spend a lot of time working on 6 this week, 5 next week, and 4 in that following week. And then finally, in that last week before the test, we're going to be working on periods 3 and 7 because I don't think the DBQ is going to come from there. But both of those periods could be helpful for context for the DBQ you write on the test. So again, just as a quick reminder, you go here, you click on here. It's going to tell you how to make your study guide. You're submitting that study guide, a picture or a video of it on Google Classroom. That is due on Friday. But if you get it to me earlier, I can also give you some feedback on it. Like, hey, what's some stuff that is missing in that feedback? Okay, so thank you guys for listening. This is what's due on Friday. Remember, we're meeting today or we are meeting on Wednesday for an extra time period so I can talk to you about what will the new test be and how we are going to do really well on it on May 15th. All right. Thanks, guys.